So yesterday we have discussed about the smart grouping. So smart grouping is just used to segregate the data on the data points into the groups for the easier classifications. Okay, and it can be applied only on the scatter and the bubble charts. So you have to give your dimensions and measures, and then you can enable the grouping, and then you can convert into another groups also, so that you will see that the multiple groups here as per your data. If you have your minimum amount of data, so it will show one or two groups. But if you are segregating into a data points where you have a large number of data set or large number of data points, so in that case you will see a different kind of groups, and it will easy to understand. Okay, that the classification has been easily understand, and you can easily create your data points on the grouping. And you can do coloring as well, and you can do a lot of stuff here. Again, you can add more charts here, and you wanted to define another grouping also with some more collections, with some more combinations, so you can add more charts in it. But do remember, you can do only smart grouping only for the scatter one and the bubble one. Okay, so today we'll have to where is Ashish? Okay, so today we have a topic is called smart discovery. Smart discovery basically is a kind of one of a best feature into the SEC, where you can use your smart discovery and you can play with your visualization and your data in terms of business, in terms of ad hoc business requirements. Okay, and in that case, they don't want to follow that particular process, kind of like from source, from model, from the story, and then again combining of stories into it. But what they want is they want a quick result from the SSE, that they are asking something and you are just creating in a minute. So that is how that smart discovery comes plays a very important role to provide the data or to provide the story, automatic story to the business. Whenever they ask, whenever you got a requirement, you got a ad hoc requirement for any particular for any division or for any line of business, so we can put a smart discovery run, and then we can create a smart discovery on top of that particular data, and we can ask the user, okay, see, your story has been already created, now you can use it. And whenever it is required, whenever you can explore your data into it, and you can analyze the data, you have to give you some kind of a relation between entities. What is the relation between entities? Like whenever you are giving a target should be measure or dimension. It is not that you have to set the target only dimensions or only measure. It could be measure or it could be dimension. So whenever you wanted to do some kind of a visualization or data quality check, and for example gross margins or revenue or sales price or net revenue, so your target should be sales revenue and this. And if you wanted to do any smart discovery or any kind of a dimension like per customer and all, in that case you have to give your target as dimensions. An entity should be entity is the one who is granularity, the data who will plays a role of the relationship between the target and the entity, and you can aggregate the data into the smart discovery by enabling the entity feature into the smart discovery. Okay, whenever you choose your entity, you can include all or you can exclude some dimension measures. It is totally depend upon your requirement and your how you are preparing your data and how you are enabling your entity and targets. So it's totally depend upon you. It's if it is required, you can choose your entity by including all, or you can exclude also. Simply we have a entity value also in the smart discovery panel, where we can define some entity value in the smart discovery.
So basically, it is like key influencer, no? I mean, if I'm not wrong,
uh,
entity is a key
Key
influencer.
influencer, yes, entity is a key influencer. Also, it will, you can also say that as a top contributor. Contributors, not top contributor,
Okay,
contributor.
okay, okay, okay. Top contributors. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can, in the smart discovery, it is a combination of a key influencer, target, and contributors. So basically, it is a combination, it is a relation between all these three, and then only our smart discovery will visualize the data automatically. If we define properly our key influencers or targets or entity or contributors, so you will get your simulation, you will get your unexpected values for any particular measure. So you will see all the combinations all together in a single page with the minimum time. And if you are creating your good relationship between entity and targets, and you will get a better result. So it is working like that, in that manner. So here I have just taken example for revenue. I've just written here revenue by customer. But for example, you want to change it for gross margin, you wanted to change for particular sales, for any amount, for any actuals, by customer, by region, by product, by store, anything, you can take that. You can select revenue as a target and the customer, this thing. And once you enable that particular combination, revenue is for target and customers for entity, so it will build your data preparation automatically. Here you don't need to create by your own. The smart discovery will create your data automatically in the background by using a kind of machine learning algorithms. So they are enabled with machine learning algorithms and the feature of smart discovery. So whenever you are just putting your values into the target and the entity, so you will get your smart discovery features with full functionality. Also, simulation part is also there, where you can simulate your data. I will show you how it will get it and how it will work. So you will get your things here automatically. And you can create n number of smart discoveries according to your data, and you can explore it with different angles. You can just and see all the data distributions are already there, and into the smart discovery automatically it will create once you define your data points. And you will do some kind of you will get a different results on every chart, for date wise. But also you don't need to apply any kind of a filter here in the smart discovery. It will automatically take it. But you have to, once you are defining your data points, if you are at that time of only whatever the values that you are giving, on that basis it will create your whole smart discovery pages, which is overview, simulation, key influencers, unexpected values, and all. So it will give you a different kind of results on the basis of data points. Data point means entity and target, or it could be date, or it could be any kind of filter, whatever the filter that you are giving here at the time of this one. So it will automatically take it, and it will give you the automatically building charts on your data. Currently you can't run smart discovery on more than 1 million cells. Yeah, there is a limitation, so just make a note of it. You can't run smart discovery on more than 1 million cells. And also remember, see, influencers and contributors are available in the smart insight also. Whenever you are doing your smart insights, enabling the smart insight features for any data, you will see your key influencers whenever you are enabling it. Also, it will show the data, or it will populate the data, or it will convert the data into terms of contributors. So smart, those particular things are also available in the smart insights. Similarly, it will available in the smart discovery as well. So all the smart features are basically built or working with working on the basis of key influencers and the contributors. But in the smart discovery, simulation is the extra part. Simulation is the extra feature of the smart discovery. But the key influencers and contributors are also working with this one, smart insight and smart assist. So all these are all our smart assist features. Okay, so we have a three kind of category here. Normally you will get it, but whenever if you are segregating your data in more granularity level, so you will get one more chart which is called unexpected values, where you can see some unexpected values for your coming quarters and measures for that particular measures which you have defined in your targets, that is revenue. So you will see some unexpected values for revenue in the unexpected sheet, similar to like this. Let me show side by side. Like this. So you have your actuals. Similarly, it will show the data automatically for the 6 store, and you will see the unexpected value for gross margin. But you will see here there is no changes in other KPIs, original sales price, discount price, quantity sold. There is no this thing. Only it will affect your gross margin because you have selected the gross margin in your target, and I have selected the store here. So that is how it will work. You will see the data on that basis of your targeted and entity, because you are defining your gross margin by stores for stores. So you are basically populating the data for the gross margin according to your stores. Here you will see
Vivek, what is that unexpected? While I was like, what it exactly tells for us?
it is basically giving you whatever what kind of expectation you will get in your coming months or coming kind of a coming quarter. I mean, what is your expected values whenever the gross margin of a store or the particular has been increased. So it will kind of give us a kind of a, you can see as a some kind of a forecast here for
Okay, it predicts the future
it,
values.
yeah, it predicts, or it's kind of a
Okay.
forecast of a thing that might be you will expected this kind of a gross margins for stores and USDs like this one. These are the top contributors, top 6 contributors for for stores for store. So for this
Okay.
6 1, these are my sales managers. So basically, it will affect the data on the basis of sales managers, and you will get your expected values in the coming quarter or coming month into that. Let me see the date. I've seen the date. What? Let's check. Yeah, so it will, whatever your influencers, key influencers, for that data it is showing here for that unexpected, for expected things. Your expectation of
Okay.
gross margin will be changed like
Okay.
this.
It is okay. It is similar like the one like in story we have forecast option, right? It is similar like this. I mean, both are similar.
No, that will only work for one single value in the story. But here it will identify for kind of a stores or kind of a top things, top 5 or top 6 things value, which is uh, unexpected here. Like we have not seen this much of values, but here it is showing that okay, this much of month you will get this kind of a things here. But for that story, uh, you are forecasting only for means if you have your month, so you will get
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, here I think it will consider all key influencers and then gives us the unexpected values, which is
yes.
like forecast.
Yeah, but in that
Okay.
story, it was not working like that. It was working
Correct, correct.
on your data point. Data point,
Huh.
your value.
Only like
Vivek,
Mm-hmm.
Vivek, there is a lot of background noise. I don't know.
Background noise is not from my side.
So Vivek, if I understand you correctly, what you are trying to in the story level, when we have something forecast that is related to a point, and here it's like for gross margin for considering everything, right? So these are the unexpected value for the gross margin for
for
all
for
the selected key figures or the
uh,
dimensions.
this one for selected key influencers. We found 6 key influencers of gross margin of store and have highlighted on the top, right? So similarly, it will show the unexpected values here. You can see the expectation expected for gross margin on for the key influencers, for these key influencers. This is the key influencers. These are one, sorry, not this one, stores, because here we are showing the data for stores. So these are my top contributor also. These are my top key influencers also. On that basis, it is showing me that okay, this particular the gross margins will be increased or will be show the data and the expected things here with that. Okay, let's just go to the small part here. How smart discovery assess your data and how it will you will get your desired results into 3 parts. Overview is a kind of a things where it will split your pages into 2 halves. First half is your summary kind of a thing, like this is your summary. Here you have your total gross margins pointers, store, this one, and you have another chart also. This is a kind of a time series chart where it is showing the data from this particular value, not it will calculate all this value. Right. So this one we have seen in the story. So it will show only from December onwards. It will calculate from December onwards. Here you can see the line also. Right. So it will show the values from this one, the value will be up, down, the value will be up or down. So this is how we can show that in our data pointers. But here it will calculate all the values, whatever your main stores, and it will calculate your some expected values also into this sheet. Key influencers basically is the ranking. It is work as a ranking from highest to lowest, or to from main. If you wanted to select some kind of a dimension and measures, and you wanted to do some kind of a relation between your target and entity, so it will work as a kind of a ranking way, in a ranking way. So similarly, if you can see here, it is working here in a ranking way. It has a highest value, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, this one, highest to lowest. The predictive algorithm deriving smart discovery identifies 6 columns as the key influencers of gross margin by store. The key influencers are the dimensions or the measure for this particular model. This impact the data for the most. Original sale price has the highest influence, followed by the discount. So this is the main part. I mean, this is how it is calculating their data, and this is how it will showing the influence, the original sales price influencing the data for the gross margin, after the gross margin for the store. After gross margin, original sales price is the highest influence, and then discount has the highest influence, and then price has the highest influence into for the store. And this is how they have distribution, the distribution of stores by gross margin and the sales price. They have already taken one influence, the top influencer, into your data, and they have distributed the data into in this particular terms of chart. They have, this is a distribution chart kind of a thing. Here you will see the averages. Here again you will see the distribution gross margin per discount for this one. Here again for the average one, for this one price. So they have distributed your top influencers. These three influencers, they have distributed it because these three measures has their own, has the most of the values, and these are the main influencers for particular store. So they have distributed, they are putting the averages, they are putting the distribution and all into the same page. So you will see the distribution of original sales price here. Okay, this is the distribution. I can see some values here, my store, discount and gross margins, and here gross margin versus and price. Simulation is kind of a thing where you wanted to change something into your existing data, and similarly it will change the influencer's value or influencer's impact, how the values are there into your target measures. So you have a capability or you have a facility to change the values according to you, to simulate the data and to change the impact of the influencers. So sometimes if you wanted to do some ad hoc request or some kind of ad hoc changes into the data, you wanted to change some values into the data according to your business requirement, and according to the business, that I don't want to change that particular thing here. I wanted to change some I wanted to change the impact. I wanted to see the impact. If I'm increasing my original sales, so what would be the impact? So it will go green or it will go red. What kind of impact? So if you are increasing it, so the impact would be strongly positive. But here for the discount, the you can't give that much of discount, and if you are changing some values, changing your influence values here. So here discount impact will not change, but yes, original sales price, the impact will be changed. Similarly, if you can change here your this one, and you can see that I wanted to change some value again for 5. So here values has been changed, but it is showing discount again, it is showing into the negative, and the percentage of that particular influencer has been decreased for the sales manager. So this is how you can change the values, and you can change the expected values of gross margin for stores. If you are facing some kind of changes into your production, or into your logistic area, or into your warehouse, where you have your product in a very limited in a bulk phase. So, and you wanted to increase your sales, so that you wanted, first you will check what, if I'm increasing my sales values or sales price, so what will be the impact. According to that, if you can see here, your value is getting changed. So this is how the business will take decisions. Okay, now I wanted to change something or not, or I would just wanted to stick to the same plan which I'm getting here from this tool. So it will help business to take their further decisions. it will change the impact overall, and overall values will be impacted and overall change will be impacted here. Once you do the simulation for any particular value for sales manager for price, for this one, if I'll increase this price from 9, nothing will change, but the impact will still, that will weak. If I wanted to do any, here, so my sales, my total values will be decreased in the negative point. So this is how the impact they have been calculated, and the business will change their simulation on the basis of influencers values, and then they can start creating their, then start their, they start taking their decision in the smart discoveries, and they can accordingly change that particular value. So might be once you do the simulation, so might be you will get some changes into your data, and might be they will ask you, okay, you need to change your target and the entity, because I'm not facing any kind of a changes here into my influencers or into my data. So just change the target and the entity. So in that case, you have to change your revenue by the customers, or you have to change some kind of a relation here between target and the entity, and then you have to start again your smart discovery from the scratch. So it is a kind of ad hoc thing. Whenever user want to change something into the smart discovery, you can change automatically. You can change very easily, and then you can start giving results in a very less time. So once they are satisfied with the simulation, okay, if I'm increasing my sales, so I'm not getting that much impacted. So okay, and that's fine. If I'm changing something and my values will be negative and the impact will be red or the impact will be yellow, in that case, they will ask you to change the values or they will ask you to change the relation between entity and the target. And they will ask also to change the filters for any kind of a date or for any kind of a particular year wise, because here you are predicting things, so you cannot take the current year. You have to take some previous year of data, and then you will see some influencers on it, and then you will get your values for your predictive things into the expected values or into the key influencers part. Now let me show you how we can change that granularity level into the smart discovery. So here you can select multiple entities. As I told, you can include multiple entities and you can try with that. You can apply some filters also. Versions would be actuals, because here we are working on the actual version. So once you define your target and entity or filter, if you have any, if you don't have any filter, that's fine. But if you wanted to see selected data for any particular year, for month, for any date, then you can select it, or any particular country wise or any region wise. So you can add those filters here. But normally we did not apply it. Normally we'll do the granularity level, or we'll make a relation between a target and entity only with the one target or multiple entity. That is how it will work. So once you enable that, so it will again sometimes you will see the expected charts or not, or sometimes you will see. In here, my case, you will see that because I have given some extra values here, some extra filters and some extra granularity between target and entity. So that is why I'm getting this particular page. So it is totally depend how you are selecting your data and how you are maintaining your how you are putting the entity and target relation. It is totally depend upon that. Can we connect? I think it will session will out within 1 minute.
Okay.